100%. That was in t-shirt and shorts. Now both ankles heavily taped. We'll have to see how he holds up against his Titans defense that wants to bring the pressure, Andrew.
Michael, thank you, and we'll have to wait a little bit to see Wentz because the Colts won the toss. They have elected to defer, so Tennessee will get the football first. Jeremy McNichols back deep to return the kickoff for the Titans, and we're underway week 3 of the NFL on CBS. Tennessee coming off that big second half in overtime in Seattle a week ago. Ryan Tannehill did not throw a touchdown or run for a touchdown, but 7 rushing touchdowns since the start of last year. We know he can do it, and he told us, James, on Friday that, look, I'm not Lamar Jackson, but I still have that inner kid in me that I love to run. So we'll look for that a little bit today. On first down, Tannehill looking to the air, and it's broken up. Intended for A.J. Brown, and Kenny Moore was able to get all over that one. So A.J. Brown coming off a disappointing game in Seattle where he was targeted 9 times, only had 3 catches. He had 3 drops in that game, and James looked like they were trying to get him going early.
And it was a play that we saw them work on at practice on Friday, but this time the Colts looked like they'd been sneaking over the fence in the backyard looking at him.
On second down, here is Henry, and Kenny Moore coming up to hit him in the backfield, and maybe a gain of 1 on the play. Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, and he said we need to change the line of scrimmage. We've got to hit Henry in the backfield, not let him get his feet going, and they did that on that second down play.
And the first play of the game, you take the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands, you try and go to play action. That time you get hit behind the line of scrimmage. Now rush the passer. That is paramount for the Colts.
Third down and 9. Pressure's coming. Tannehill is sacked. Okereke coming free and bringing down Tannehill. Second sack of his career.
When you bring more defenders to rush the passer than there are guys to protect the passer, because there's that one extra guy if you count, and he is going to be the player that you're going to say, okay, quarterback, that's his responsibility. Well, that was the quarterback's responsibility on that last play.
The sacks continue to be an issue for Tennessee. They've now allowed 10 on the season. A 9-yard loss on that play. And both teams running out an extra player as Wentz starts to get loose.
And one of the things that had been an indicator, remember both teams have only accounted for 3 points in the first quarter through the first 2 ball games.
Brett Kern punting to Naheem Hines, and it goes out of bounds on the Tennessee sideline. So now we will see Carson Wentz. He has sprained both of his ankles. The right one is more severe than the left. He told us he was going to have a couple of pounds of tape wrapped around his ankles. And James, it'll be interesting to see how Frank Reich calls this game with Wentz. Does he have his normal mobility? And that's something that Frank Reich wants to find out early.
Well, so much of today's passing game in the NFL is out of the shotgun, so that eliminates part of having to drop back from under center. You get the ball in the shotgun, you take 1 or 2 little baby steps backwards, and you're ready to throw the football.
Jonathan Taylor starts at running back with Jack Doyle in motion. Ball at the 41-yard line, and on first down, Wentz is throwing, and Doyle drops it. Colts once again without their starting right tackle Braden Smith. He is out with a foot strain according to Frank Reich. So Julian Davenport gets the start. We could see Matt Pryor in at right tackle as well.
What I thought was interesting, Frank Reich told us that he has the same game plan that he was going to have for Carson Wentz as for Brent Hundley. And he had said he was going to do 2, but then he decided he just tore 1 up, so I'll go with 1.
Here's Taylor. He spins his way for a yard. Yeah, Wright told us that on Thursday night he wrote 2 separate 15-play scripts to start the game, and then on Friday morning he said, you know what, I'm not going to do this. He ripped one of them up, and he said, this will be the first 15, whether it's Wentz or Brett Hundley. And yes, Brett Hundley is the backup quarterback today. Jacob Eason is active, but he is the 3rd quarterback.
So it's empty. You're showing a 5-man pressure, trying to get after Carson. You bring the running back in for a little added protection, but you're going to dog that running back.
3rd and 8, pressure's coming. Taylor picks it up and Wentz throws it away. David Long was coming. Taylor did a good job, but Wentz still feeling the heat. And now each team goes 3 and out on their first possession.
Limited mobility from Carson Wentz. You can see him standing tall in the pocket, but when the running back gets knocked over, Carson Wentz barely gets out of the way and gets that ball out of his hand.
Rigoberto Sanchez to punt for Indianapolis with Chester Rogers, the former Colt, packed deep. And Rogers fields it at the 14 and takes it up to the 29-yard line. Willis on the tackle. 12:08 to go. Opening quarter. No score on a sack on its first possession. Taylor Lewan back at left tackle had a rough opener against the Cardinals, allowed 2 sacks. And then last week in pregame warmups, injured his right knee, did not play, but he practiced all week and he's out there today trying to get that bad taste out of his mouth from week 1. This is A.J. Brown on the carry across the 30, and Brown is able to get a couple of yards on the play.
Once again, going back to your point about A.J. Brown having 3 drops last week, you want to get the ball in his hands early just so that he gets comfortable, that he can get involved in the game plan, and he can be somebody that you can go to in that 2nd, 3rd, 4th quarter.
Mike Vrabel, after last week's win, is now 9-2 after double-digit losses. Tennessee got blown out week 1 against the Cardinals. They answered in a big way in Seattle. It's a pitch to Henry, trying the left side, and Henry up to the 35-yard line. Grover Stewart on the tackle after a 4-yard gain. Well, the first half last week, Derrick Henry only 35 yards rushing, and then he poured it on after halftime, averaging 6.7 yards per carry.
And for Derrick Henry, it's those explosive runs, Andrew. You know, 10, 20, 30, even 50-yard runs that are uncommon for somebody who weighs 247 pounds.
3rd down and 3. 4-man rush. Tannehill feeling it, steps up, he's going to run, he's got the first down. Tannehill still going, cutting back and moving into Colts territory. Well, he said it before, he said, I'm not Lamar Jackson, but I'm still going to run, and a big play there, a 17-yard gain.
I mean, everybody in this stadium was anticipating a slide. Not only us, but also the Colts. And right there, a little move at the end of the play, a little wiggle. Yes, he did play wide receiver. He always talks about that, but that was a sweet move there at the end of that run.
1st down and 10 for Tennessee. And a check down to Henry. Saw that a lot last week. And Henry to the 41-yard line. Kenny Moore on the tackle. A career high 6 receptions for Henry a week ago. Part of his resume that earned him AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors.
And Andrew, I told you that he wasn't a real receiver at practice on Friday. I almost have to take it back. I watched him catching balls from his position coach, but then I watched him throw the balls back. So Derrick Henry is a dual threat running back. He can catch it and he can throw it.
Running it here, that's where they like him, and Muhammad is able to jump on top. So Derrick Henry already has 10 catches this season. His career high was last year when he had 19. And even going back to Alabama, he only had 17 catches in 3 years. He told us Friday that it's something he's been working hard at. Thinks he's improved since entering the NFL, and Certainly offensive coordinator Todd Downing is using him more in these spots, even if they are checkdowns from Tannehill.
Once again, you look at that defensive line, and it looks like pressure coming after Ryan Tannehill.
3rd and 4. Tannehill taking a deep shot for Brown, and it's incomplete. Tight coverage by Kenny Moore. It's 4th down and 4. And Mike Vrabel is keeping the offense on the field.
You've got to give A.J. Brown a 50-50 ball. Underthrow that ball, let him go up, use his size over Kenny Moore, who's only 5'9", and you've got A.J. Brown, who's 6 feet, 225 pounds. Let him be more physical, not just get pushed into the boundary, because he's not going to outrun Kenny Moore very often.
Tennessee 1 for 4 on 4th downs this year. Tannehill throws, and he's got Julio Jones for a 1st down. So Mike Vrabel rolls the dice, and it works. A gain of 16 for Julio.
You can call it a pick route, a rub route, or a scrub route, where you try and scrub the defender off, and you have the crossers, and Julio Jones is an easy target once he gets away from that man-to-man coverage. He's big, he's going to catch the ball in stride, and he's good after the catch.
So the drive continues. This will be the 8th play. 1st down and 10 from the 26. A new fullback in there for the Titans. Torrey Carter is active, and Kerry Blasingame is inactive. Henry following Carter. There he goes. Henry lowering his shoulder. Julian Blackmon finally able to bring down Derrick Henry, but it's 1st and goal for Tennessee.
You know, we listen to people talk about how do you tackle Derrick Henry. Well, you hit him early. You get the hamstring tackle. Well, if you're 15 yards down the field and Derrick Henry's coming at you, you want to survive the tackle. And that time, you survive the tackle if you're Julian Blackmon.
A 19-yard run for Derrick Henry. 1st and goal for Tennessee. Back to Henry. And Henry is able to get a yard. Grover Stewart, one of the first to get there for the Colts. Tennessee has scored points on all 8 of their red zone drives this year. 4 touchdowns and 4 field goals.
When you get down here, obviously, Andrew, you're thinking touchdown, but you're also thinking the next play, if it's not apparent that you can get a touchdown on your throw.
10th play of the drive. Tannehill, pump fakes, rolling right, and now he'll just throw this one away. Good coverage in the end zone by the Colts.
But there it is. Tannehill realized it wasn't there right after the play action fake. Get us to 3rd down. Give your offensive coordinator a chance to make the next call. Don't force the ball in.
There's Matt Eberflus, 4th year as defensive coordinator. Met with him last night. Said they are going to play a lot of 8-man fronts against Derrick Henry, but not here. 3rd down and goal. Henry is not in there. It's McNichols at running back. Tannehill into the end zone, caught, touchdown, and it's the former Colt Chester Rogers on the score.
And did Chester Rogers just give a little T.Y. Hilton signal after the touchdown reception?
He spent 4 years with the Colts, scoring 5 touchdowns. This is his first as a Titan.
And it was quickness against quickness. Kenny Moore matched up against Chester Rogers. A little spin of the ball. Come on, show us the TY there.
It's Bullock gone for the extra point, and it is good. What a drive by Tennessee. 11 plays covering 71 yards. And here's your answer, James Lofton. 7-0 Titans. And 44 seconds. So a rare lead early in the year for Tennessee. It's Isaiah Rodgers on the return. And Rodgers is brought down by Matthias Farley, another former Colt. Queen Latifah returns in the new season of the hit drama The Equalizer. It premieres Sunday, October 10th on CBS.
I think that's what the Colts would like to have on this drive, an equalizer. And for me, when I watch their offense, who's the #1 receiver? And I know that that's not always important unless you're playing fantasy. But Michael Pittman had a big game last week, and Frank Reich said there were plays that I tried to script in for him early. Let's see where he tries to go with the ball early when they throw it against the Titans.
Ashton Doolin in motion. It's a handoff to Taylor. He's got some running room. Jonathan Taylor with a big run out to the 42-yard line. That's his longest run of the season, 23 yards.
Along that offensive line, you've got some great players. Quentin Nelson there does a great job in jumping out and hooking his guy and creating that lane for Jonathan Taylor to run through.
That's been something that has been missing for the Colts early in the year. Their running backs on the season only averaging 3.4 yards per carry. But Taylor with a big burst, and it's a first down for Indianapolis. Hines goes in motion to the bottom of your screen. Wentz in trouble, and he throws it down as Landry takes him down, and now a late flag comes in. It's going to be grounding, I believe, on Wentz.
Well, it could also be roughing the quarterback the way that they drove him into the turf.
Intentional grounding.
Yeah.
Offense number 2. 10-yard penalty. Lots it down. Second down.
It is the second pressure that we've seen him just really get rid of the football, Andrew. So here's a quarterback who's out there realizing, I'm a sitting duck. I cannot move and get out of the way adequately enough. Watch the footwork and trying to move off of that right foot and gingerly trying to get out of the way after he got rid of the football.
That is only the 6th penalty against the Colts this year. But another hit taken by Wentz. No one has taken more hits since the start of last season. Wentz over the middle, and it's caught by Doyle. Jack Doyle takes a big hit from Cruikshank, but he holds on for a 10-yard gain.
Boy, nice read by Carson Wentz. He wanted to go underneath to Hines. Hines had the wrap in coming behind him, and an accurate throw and a good hit by Cruikshank right at the end of the play.
Still leaves the Colts with 3rd and 10. Wentz changing the call at the line. He's got time with 10 on the play clock. Low snap. Wentz fields it over the middle, and it is dropped. Incomplete. Pittman could not hold on. Christian Fulton had the coverage, and it's 4th down.
Tight coverage by Fulton and a nice drive on the football. Ball's high. Should be where Pittman can just go up and snag it, but a good job in coming through with the arms and separating the ball out as both players go to the turf.
Christian Fulton continues his nice start to the season. 4 passes defensed on the year. That leads the team. Here's Rodgers on the return. Already caught the touchdown. Rodgers sneaks through across the 25. Nearly broke that one. But Odom was there for the Colts. 7-0 Tennessee on CBS.
Andrew, the Colts are really high on their rookie defensive end out of Michigan, Kwity Paye. He pulled himself from the game on that last Titans drive. It's a hamstring injury. He's out the remainder of the game.
That's a big loss for Matt Eberflus's defense. They were thinking that he might have a big day today after he was stuck against Dwayne Brown and Andrew Whitworth in his first 2 games. Let's see how the Colts adjust. They bottle up Henry on 1st down. They do have Kamoko Toure and Ben Banogu, but those 2 not as good against the run, which they need today as we go back to that last drive by the Titans.
And Tannehill taking advantage of the pass rush and zone coverage behind running. Nice pass on 3rd down, but that key 4th down pickup and then the touchdown toss to Chester Rogers.
Throwing up the TY, who is on IR for the Colts with a neck injury, hoping to return sometime soon. 2nd and 11. Tannehill over the middle, caught by Westbrook-Akina. He's upended by Blackman. And that is the first time this season that Ryan Tannehill has thrown a pass in the lead. Third down and 2. This is something we saw Tennessee do last week on 3rd down, going no huddle so the defense can't get a blitz package on the field. Henry. And Henry has the first down.
There are times as a running back where you're going to read, you're going to say, well, can I bounce it to the outside? But Derrick Henry right there realized I need to pick up the necessary yardage so that we can convert this 3rd down into a 1st down. So take all your weight, you take your shoulders, you lower them, and you go and you make a hole. That's what Derrick Henry did on the last snap.
A.J. Brown has not been out there so far on this drive for Tennessee, does not even have the helmet on. Two and a half to go in the opening quarter. Tannehill, and it's dropped. It was in the hands of Jeff Swain. But James, going back to that 3rd down, no huddle, something we saw last week. It's kind of a smart strategy. I'm surprised more teams don't do that.
It really is, because now all of a sudden the defense doesn't get the huddle. They don't get the signals in. They react to the alignment that you have offensively, and you have a base look, and they go base defense.
Able to convert that last 3rd down and 2. It's a play fake. Tannehill rolling right, throws. Swain catches this one, but driven out of bounds by Okereke. A 3-yard pickup. Tannehill threw for 347 last week in Seattle. But he lost a fumble again. He's now lost 3 fumbles on the year. Only lost 1 last season. Third and 4. Tannehill. And it is broken up. Willis got a hand on that one. And now a late flag comes in from the secondary. Titans bench was screaming for a foul, and that may have helped their cause.
It looked like such a bang play. It looked like Willis was there.
Pass interference.
Right on time.
Defense number 37. Spot foul. Automatic 1st down.
Bill Vinovich, our referee.
Yeah, you can see he's early there. But Tannehill, once again, did not have a receiver to go to. Michael Pruitt was in at tight end, and he blocked his way out. He blocked one of the pass rushers. Then he was open short, but it would have only been for a 2-yard gain. So Tannehill took his time, looked down the field, got the pickup with the pass interference call.
Colts had been the only team in the league without a defensive penalty this season. That is their first of the year. Gives Tennessee a 1st down. And a handoff. Henry hit hard. Muhammad coming across with the big hit. Derrick Henry told us on Friday that after his 41 touches in Seattle, Monday and Tuesday were a little slow for Derrick Henry. Took him a while to recover.
And we asked Mike Vrabel about giving players rest days, and he said, well, I played 12, 13, 14 years, never got a rest day. But then again, I never had 41 touches in a ball game either.
Still no A.J. Brown out there on this drive for Tennessee. Henry, and he can't cut back away from Kenny Moore, who's been very active defensively. All right, we got an injury update on A.J. Brown. Here's Michael Grady.
You've been mentioning why he hasn't been in the game on this drive. It is a hamstring injury, Andrew. He is questionable to return.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. So we've seen Pay go out, and now Brown questionable to return for Tennessee. One of their other receivers, Josh Reynolds, inactive today. Cameron Batson is active in his place. 3rd and 7. Tannehill intercepted, picked off by Darius Leonard, who has it poked away. Leonard goes to the ground and gets it back. It was David Quessenberry who forced the fumble. Leonard right there to scoop it back up. 8th career interception for the Maniac. And Tannehill threw it right to him.
Yeah, but great pass protection for Tannehill, and he's just trying to get the ball to one of the short guys underneath. And it's interesting, he has 2 receivers who are stacked, and then they split. And there's Darius Leonard right behind him. And Darius Leonard, when we talked to him about ball skills, about being able to run, says, hey, I was a wide receiver, a tight end in high school. You got to learn how to hold the ball. He's the guy who's normally punching it out. He got the ball punched out on himself right there.
So big takeaway by the Colts defense, their 2nd interception of the season with 11 seconds left in the opening quarter. Sudden change. Do you take a shot from this part of the field? Not here. Taylor. And the Titans all over that one. And that is the final play of the first quarter. Only touchdown was Tannehill to Chester Rogers. Darius Leonard with the pick. Colts football to start the 2nd quarter when we come back. Brady down on the sideline, our entire crew. I'm Andrew Catalan. As Zach Pascal goes in motion to open up the 2nd. It's play action. Wentz locates Taylor. Blockers in front into Tennessee territory. Finally taken down by Rashaan Evans at the 46. All right, James, through 1 quarter, we haven't seen Wentz do too much, but how does he look with those ankles to you?
There is a constant theme from the Tennessee Titans to pressure Wentz. He hasn't really been able to get out of the way. You could almost sense a little panic there, even on that screen, that he was just trying to back up to get away from being hit. So Wentz, yes, he's out there, he's being a tough guy, but he really is trapped within his own body.
Indianapolis 0 for 2 on 3rd down, and they have their first conversion as Pittman makes that tough contested catch. That's what Wentz told us last night. That's what he loves about Michael Pittman, how physical he is. Coming off a career high 8 catches and 123 yards in the loss against the Rams a week ago. His only other 100-yard game was Week 10 last year against the Titans.
So much of Carson Wentz's game is his ability to create when the pocket breaks down and the ability to move out of the pocket. Now he's going to have to pocket work from inside that pocket.
Naheem Hines, and he can't get away from Ola Adeni. Adeni had that big sack of Russell Wilson, controversial sack in overtime last week in Seattle, very close to being a safety. And Mike Vrabel said after the game that Adeni has earned some more opportunities on defense. He was primarily thought of as a special teams player, but he's getting some run here in the 2nd quarter. Ball at the 36-yard line. They flip it to Hines. Hines trying to get around the edge. He does. Now cuts it back at the 30. And Hines falling forward close to a 1st down. It might just be short. Kevin Byard on the tackle. And it's going to be 3rd down.
In old school football, you would pull 1 guard, but it almost like the entire offensive line pulls out in front of Hines, and he does a great job in squaring those shoulders back up and getting some positive yardage going forward.
3rd and 1. Taylor right up the middle. He's got the 1st down. Let's have an NFL Today update back in New York. Here's our quarterback, Phil Simms.
All right, the Chargers strike first. Justin Herbert
finds Keenan Allen, 4-yard touchdown. And believe it or not, the Chargers missed the extra point, so it's LA 6, Kansas City nothing. Back to Andrew, James, and Michael.
All right, so update there from the Chiefs and Chargers, and now there is an injured Colt down on the field. It is Quentin Nelson, who's been dealing with a back injury. We'll step aside and come back in a moment. He's been looking at his right foot. We'll take another look at the replay.
There he is right there. And keep an eye on that right leg. Gets rolled up on, and this is what offensive linemen, everybody always fears, getting rolled up on from behind.
Chris Reed has come in to play left guard, and Pryor is currently at right tackle. Quick pass, Pittman trying to get him in space. They do. Inside the 20 and taken down by Landry at the 15-yard line. 12-yard pickup for Pittman.
Great job by Mo Alley Cox here. Watch him come out and get the block on the outside, and that opens up the lane for Michael Pittman.
Pittman in his second year out of USC. His father, Michael, 11 seasons in the NFL. Running back, won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, and Pittman coming off a career-high performance last week. Hines inside the 10 and down to the 9-yard line. Evans another tackle. So now the Colts in the red zone, which has not treated them kindly so far this year. 8 red zone drives, only 3 touchdowns, 5th worst percentage in the NFL.
When you look at your red zone, you're trying to get size matchups, or you're trying to get separation. A guy like Hines can give you that separation, and a guy like Michael Pittman can give you that size matchup. Also, Mo Alley Cox, the tight end, number 81, is a target down here in the red zone.
44 yards on this drive, more than the first 2 drives combined. Hines, left side, got room at the 5, angling for the end zone. And no signal, yes, touchdown! First of the season for Nyheim Hines. A 9-yard touchdown run, and the Colts are on the board.
With all eyes on Carson Wentz, you're trying to get after the passer. That handoff, it was almost a little slow because Carson Wentz is getting it, couldn't get a grasp on it, and that drew all the defensive linemen in, and Nyheim Hines just shows that speed to get to the pylon.
Frank Reich said, look, real small sample size in the red zone so far. A guy by the name of Aaron Donald blew up a couple of our red zone plays. He said maybe a couple tweaks, but we like what we do in the red zone, and they prove it right there. Darius Leonard, the interception, and that leads to the touchdown run from Nyheim Hines. We are tied at 7. "35 yards on that drive, a 9-play drive culminated by the touchdown run from Nyheim Hines. And it will be a touchback. Meanwhile, bad news over on the Colts sideline as Quentin Nelson is being carted off the field. The 3-time All-Pro, heart and soul of this Indianapolis offense, a captain on the team. And he still got his right shoe off. Right now they're telling us he's questionable to return, but never a good sign when the cart comes out. Meanwhile, Tennessee's offense is back on the field, but no A.J. Brown, still standing on the sideline with his helmet off. Told you earlier, a hamstring for Brown, questionable to return. Henry on first down. And Henry gets 2 yards on the play.
So far, Derrick Henry, 10 carries, 33 yards. Not real impressive, but impressed by the fact that when you give him the ball, you keep giving him the ball, it's going to open up your play-action passing game.
And there's an injured Titan on one knee. It is David Quessenberry, the right tackle, who forced the fumble on the return from Darius Leonard. So the Titans training staff out to take a look at David Quessenberry. We're back in a moment.
Your wallet.
7-7, and it looked like David Quessenberry just got poked in the eye on that last play.
And when it happens, you almost feel like your eyeball is about to fall out. You go to the sideline, and once your vision gets restored, you're ready to go back in.
Ty Sambrailo enters at right tackle for the Titans. Tannehill looking deep. Julio Jones has got it at midfield. Tackle made by Willis, but Julio Jones with a 25-yard pickup, and James on that reception. He passes Steve Largent for 18th all-time in receiving yards.
He's going to keep passing a lot of people because he's #1 in yards per game. But the thing about Julio Jones, as you watch him play, 6'3", 220, he moves like a guy who's 6 feet 180. Just so acrobatic with his body.
Henry. And inside the 45-yard line. So Jones now at number 18, and James, you're at number 12. Starting to look at his receptions a little more carefully.
Well, so I'm still in the top 20. That list is ever changing.
Quessenberry is back on the field, so good news there for Tennessee after he was poked in the eye.
Down here at the bottom, a favorable matchup. They really like X-Man against Julio Jones.
Henry, first down run. Tackled by DeForest Buckner. A 9-yard pickup for Derrick Henry.
And you kind of watch the vibe of a team, and Taylor Lewan, the left tackle, after this play was over, kind of turned to the bench and said, yeah, come on, that's the play call that we need. Keep coming my way. Look at him. He's just a force. He gets his guy totally out of the way, and a huge hole for Derrick Henry to run through.
Yeah, Lewan was very upset after that week 1 performance, anxious to get back out there today after he missed last week's game. Mekhi Sargent in at running back, and he takes the pitch. Sargent, and hit hard. Chris Williams in on the stop. Let's have another NFL Today update. And here's Phil Simms.
Yeah, one of the big games today. Here we go. Justin Herbert finds Austin Eckler. Where's the defense? Nowhere to be found. 16 yards for the touchdown. They got the 2-point conversion. The Chargers over Kansas City, 14-0. Back to Andrew, James, Lofton, and Michael.
All right, Phil, so how about that start for the Chargers on the road? Up 14-0. Here in Tennessee, it's tied at 7 with 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Tannehill throws, and Jones holds on. 9-yard pickup for Julio Jones. Julian Blackmon on the tackle.
For the Tennessee Titan fans who've seen, highlights of Julio Jones, the long touchdown catches, different things like that. But to catch a ball in traffic, underneath the defense, break a tackle, run through another tackle, that's a lot of effort from a star receiver.
3rd and inches. Henry, first down. Henry stays on his feet and shot down at the 17-yard line. 8-yard run for Derrick Henry.
When you crowd that line of scrimmage and there's no linebackers, meaning that there's nobody behind the line, Derrick Henry, if he breaks that first crease, the safeties better come up and make the tackle, and that time you had a shoestring tackle. Second time Blackmon has survived a tackle late in the secondary.
Henry already has 14 touches in the first half. The Colts have run 16 plays in the first half. Tannehill. There's Westbrook-Ikhine at the 5. Touchdown! First NFL touchdown for Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Played collegiately at Indiana, and he scores his first touchdown against the Colts.
And it is a Titans-Oilers celebration day. A lot of former Oilers in the house, Billy White Shoes Johnson being one of them, and Westbrook-Ikhine, a little Billy White Shoes dance there at the end of his touchdown reception.
You know, James, you said to Ryan Tannehill on Friday, it's got to be hard when you see these long touchdowns given up by the defense like we saw in Seattle. And he said, honestly, when I see the other team score, I just say, all right, it's time for us to answer. And that's exactly what he did after that Colts score. Tannehill puts the Titans back on top. Touchdown pass today for Ryan Tannehill, so he has thrown more touchdowns in the first half today than he did in the first 2 games combined. It's 14-7 in favor of Tennessee as Bullock with a low kick fielded by Wilkins. And Wilkins takes it back to the 30-yard line. All right, James, let's go back to the touchdown from Tannehill.
You got to make sure you get the correct call right here. We have one defender who ends up playing man, and he's going to vacate this zone, and that's where the receiver is going to come underneath and catch the route. So you're in the huddle, and you hear the defensive call, but you make the one critical mistake that cost you. And when you get on the sideline, everybody's talking about trying to get the correct communications, because you have to be able to communicate when you're playing defense and when you're playing in pass coverage.
Chris Reed still at left guard. Quentin Nelson with an injured ankle, questionable to return. Here is Doolin, nowhere to go. Shoved down by that Tennessee defense. David Long, one of the first to get there.
You know, Andrew, in my day, we didn't have the jet sweep, but when it first became popular about 10 years ago, I used to think, boy, I could have run that. But this is what happens to you when it's not blocked properly as a wide receiver. You're just in no man's land, and that time just Doolin going backwards.
David Long really stepped up last week. With Jayon Brown out, Long played 98% of the defensive snaps, wore the green dot to communicate the calls from defensive coordinator Shane Bowen.
And Landry talked about how fast he made decisions, and you could see how fast he made that decision on the last play.
Wentz able to locate Paris Campbell, who is buried on that play. Long again.
You know, when you're out at practice and you see a player like Long, and what I mean by that, who's listed at 5'11", but probably is maybe 5'9.5", he is going to be sudden, and he's going to get to the ball, and he's going to make a tremendous impact, because if you're a little bit small, you better be a little bit faster than everybody else out there.
Back-to-back big plays by David Long has set up 3rd and 13 for Indianapolis.
Watch Harold Landry down here at the bottom as an edge pass rusher. They've got the back to his side.
Wentz nowhere to go, and he throws it to the ground. Danico Autry was crashing, and that Tennessee defense with a big possession, forcing a Colts punt.
You know, you get sudden pressure even on a screen, you're going to disrupt the quarterback, and that time Wentz smartly got rid of the ball, drilled it into the ground, because you can do that when you have a screen in front of you.
Second 3 and out today by Wentz and the Colts. And the 8th 3 and out forced by the Tennessee defense this year. Sanchez punting to Rodgers. Good punt. Rodgers fair catch at the 16-yard line. 4:06. Up on the Verizon halftime report. Ryan Tannehill, 8 of 13 for 89 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Tennessee leads the league in time of possession, and they are dominating again here in the first half. Derrick Henry has rushed for 54 yards. Tannehill throwing on first down. He's got Swaim. Jeff Swaim, first down and more. All the way out to the 45-yard line.
There was motion, there was a shift, there was misdirection. Everything that you would draw up if you're working on a fantasy play that you want to impress somebody with, and Swaim just coming underneath after the fake, going to the left with Derrick Henry. Wide open, because Derrick Henry is a magnet for defenders.
26-yard pickup for Swaim. Once again, Anthony Ferkser is out today for the Titans with a knee injury. They spot the ball at the 43. Tannehill to Henry. And 2 yards on the play. Now, the first 2 years, Colts linebacker was Bobby Okereke.
Yes.
But the Colts PR staff, yes, told us last night that when he said his name for the radio broadcast during the preseason, he pronounced it Okereke. And the PR staff said, wait a minute, it's been Okereke the 2 years. He goes, nah, you guys have been saying it wrong my first 2 years. So we're calling him what he wants to be called. Bobby Okereke is the middle linebacker for the Colts. 2nd down and 8. Screen to Henry. Henry with blockers in front. Derrick Henry knocking over Darius Leonard. Now Leonard told us that he was still going to try to punch the ball. He did not care if he got run over. He got run over right there.
One of the new rules is once you get outside the tackle box and you're down the field, nobody cuts. So everybody's manned up. And these offensive linemen do a great job of body on body and allowing Derrick Henry to run through. Normally, the defensive backs would have tried to cut those guys' knees out. But the screen pass is going to be in vogue more because these offensive linemen cannot get cut in space.
2-minute warning in Tennessee. Titans looking to add to their lead on CBS. Him in the face.
Well, he's trying to punch the ball out. He has 10 forced fumbles in his career. Sometimes you're going to swing and miss. That time, I guess he swung and he did connect, but he didn't connect with the ball.
That's exactly what he told us. I might look bad out there, but I'm still going to punch for the ball. He punched and looked bad. Big run by Henry. They go right back to him. Henry. And he's taken down on the play. We have an injury update. Let's go down to Michael Grady.
Andrew Quentin Nelson just came out of the Colts locker room. That right ankle heavily taped, moving very gingerly. No update on his status. He's still listed as questionable to return.
I'm surprised that they didn't let him just stay in the locker room until halftime was over, try and come out in the second half and work it out.
Well, there he is. And A.J. Brown, meanwhile, still without a helmet on the Titans sideline.
I talked to him before the game on the field. He was really excited about playing and getting a little bit of redemption after last week's ball game, but that hamstring is keeping him out.
Henry with Michael Pruitt serving as a blocker in front, and Henry inside the 30. Don't forget, coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. We'll have scores and highlights with our crew back in New York. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Derrick Henry went for 237 scrimmage yards a week ago, the 4th highest of his career. He already has 90 in the first half, compared to 85 for the Colts as a team. 3 timeouts for each team with 1:13 to go. Tannehill looking deep, incomplete. Julio Jones, the closest receiver.
Trying to get Julio on a corner route in zone coverage and watch the defender sink with him. Rhodes does a nice job in eyeing the quarterback, knowing that there's a flat receiver underneath him, but he's thinking Julio's getting the ball here, and he forced that overthrow to Julio Jones.
3 career games for Jones against the Colts. 20 catches, 419 yards, and 3 touchdowns, not including what he's done so far today. McNichols runs into Darius Leonard. Nothing doing there. And we have a timeout called. A couple of players still slow to get up. And is Ben Jones, who was hobbling a little bit last week in Seattle. It's a Colts timeout. Well, September 16th, the Titans hosted the Waverly High School football team for a game right here at Nissan Stadium after record-setting rain devastated the school's facilities. The town lost 20 people in the flood. Over 6,000 people came out to support the team, and the Titans also made a donation to the United Way of Humphreys County. There's A.J. Brown, has not even tried to work on that hamstring. He's just had the towel on his head most of this first half.
when you see A.J. Brown in person, a really muscled guy. So if you pull a hamstring or you get a knot in it, you know that you've got to back off, and you really can't get out there and test it out and really rip it apart.
3rd down and 9. Tannehill out of the shotgun. Throws, it's popped up in the air and picked off. Kenny Moore on the return for Indianapolis. Moore into Tennessee territory and finally dragged down by Julio Jones. 2nd interception of the half thrown by Tannehill, and Kenny Moore with a 39-yard return.
Ryan Tannehill once again has great time in the pocket, and he just tries to gun this in there, and it bounces off the pads of Chester Rogers. You don't see in the picture right now Julio Jones, but remember DK Metcalf when he ran down the defender. Same thing with Julio Jones, 220 pounds, coming in, making sure that Kenny Moore doesn't take it the distance.
11th career interception for Kenny Moore.
What did Matt Eberflus call him? Lightning in a bottle?
Yeah, he said that's his nickname because of his high energy, and he has brought that energy today. So you think the Titans at worst were going to get a field goal out of that drive. Now they come up empty, and the Colts have 2 timeouts and 49 seconds on the clock. Three receivers to the top of your screen, and Nyheim Hines in at running back. Wentz hit from behind, and he is sacked. Adeney again making his presence felt. 2nd straight week with a sack for Adeney.
And Adeney, one of those guys who's listed at 6'1", great bend coming around the corner.
Colts call timeout. Wentz flexing those ankles. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from DirecTV Stream.
With DirecTV Stream, I can get live TV and on demand together. Watch Serena Williams, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman.
You cannot be serious! Get your TV together with the best of live and on demand. Introducing DirecTV Stream with no annual contract.
After the sack, 2nd down and long, it's a loss of 16 on the play. Wentz pump fakes. Flag is down. Now Wentz just throws this one away as Danico Autry was about to hit him. And now we await the call from Bill Vinovich.
Illegal contact. Defense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's a big call against David Long. Colts were looking at 3rd and a mile. Now they get an automatic first down.
When you're in coverage and the play gets extended, lots of defensive backs, linebackers get a little handsy, and you're going to put your hands up. You've got 5 yards to work. So you're working the 5 yards right there. He's still in coverage, and it's really, the feet get tangled a little bit while he has his hand on his back. I don't know if that's illegal contact, but it got called.
First penalty today against Tennessee, and it's costly. Wentz fires, and it's caught at the 30-yard line. Sliding grab made by Michael Pittman, and Wentz trying to get him to the line quickly. They only have 1 timeout remaining.
A little soft on the zone coverage there. Wentz, nice job hitting Pittman.
And now a stoppage and a timeout called by Tennessee to stop the clock with 17 seconds left. And you can see Wentz is starting to hobble a little more as he limps over toward the sideline.
Tell you what would take that pain away, Andrew. Touchdown pass.
There you see the grab by Pittman, but then after Tennessee called timeout, Wentz doing okay getting to the line, but then when he went off to talk to Frank Reich during this timeout, he was hobbling a little bit. Wentz told us that every night this week he woke up in the middle of the night in throbbing pain.
Yep.
We met with him about 6 o'clock last night, and he said, I hope tonight I can sleep through the night, but he had not been able to do that all week long.
Pittman on the outside.
A give to Hines up the middle, and Hines to the 25-yard line. And looks like Frank Reich just wanted to get in better field position for Rodrigo Blankenship to attempt a field goal, as they take it down to 3 seconds and call their final timeout. Tennessee has 2 timeouts, so they could potentially ice the kicker if Mike Vrabel chooses to do so.
Well, a little conservative here, and you also have to be concerned about Danico Autry on the other side, because here's a guy who has 8 career block kicks and really has a great job of swimming in there, turning his body a little bit, and getting after these kicks from distance.
Only had 1 timeout, which worked against the Colts in terms of trying to get down the field for a touchdown.
Right there in the middle. Sorry about that, Andrew.
43-yard attempt for Blankenship. And Hot Rod is good. He's now 5 for 5 on the year. All of the Colts' points today have come off of turnovers, and Indianapolis will get the ball to start the second half. That's the end of the first half, with Tennessee leading 14-10. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
Move off his spot. He's going to be able to locate receivers, and Frank Reich, I think, has done a good job in designing some plays where Carson Wentz gets the ball out of his hands quickly, but when he has to move and kind of defend himself as an athlete out there, he's been in trouble. On the other end, Ryan Tannehill has been hot, but 2 interceptions have kept the Colts in this ball game and made it a competitive contest through the first half.
Wentz 7 of 12, 67 yards. Tannehill 2 touchdown passes, but also 2 interceptions. He did not have A.J. Brown for the majority of that first half because of a hamstring injury. Keep in mind the Colts have won 8 of the last 9 meetings here in Nashville. It's a touchback. Indianapolis will get the football at the 25 as we check in with Michael Grady.
Coach Mike Vrabel had a lot to be excited about in that first half, with the exception of the turnovers. Very disappointed with the 2 interceptions in that first half. He said it completely changed the complexion of this ball game. As for Coach Frank Reich, fired up. Love that the defense made a play to close that first half, and they got points on the board. He wants that momentum to carry into this first half. This second half will be without Quentin Nelson out the rest of the game with that ankle, Andrew.
All right, Michael, that's a huge loss for the Indianapolis Colts as Chris Reed continues to play at left guard. Quentin Nelson will not return today. Wentz to the air on first down. Pascal with his first reception, and the tackle made by Cruikshank.
One of the things that if you're in the secondary for the Tennessee Titans, you're going to have to make sure, yes, the Colts want to get the ball out quickly. Yes, the routes are going to be shorter. But all of a sudden, that stop and go, that out and up, don't bite before the ball is in the air.
4-yard pickup makes it 2nd and 6. Wentz, and not on the same page with Campbell, but a flag comes in. Jackrabbit Jenkins had the coverage.
The most frustrating PI call is when the ball is nowhere close to the receiver.
Pass interference. Defense number 20. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
It is on Jenkins. Frank Reich told us last night he has a lot of respect for Jack Rabbit Jenkins, now in his 10th year in the NFL. First season as a Titan for the veteran Jenkins. First down and 10. Taylor at running back. He rushed for 26 yards in the first half. And here is Taylor. And he stretches out across the 40. Jonathan Taylor all the way up to the 44-yard line. Rashad Weaver made the initial hit for the Tennessee defense.
And you talk about that initial hit. Those are yards after contact, because as we're watching that play, we think, oh, he's gained a yard. No, 2 yards. No, 3 yards. No. All of a sudden, 6 yards on a play that looked like it was clogged up for a 1-yard gain.
In motion. Taylor takes the handoff. Taylor has the first down. Spun down at midfield. Zach Pascal had a good block along the way for Jonathan Taylor.
Just enough deception. That handoff looks like that ball is going to go left, and you get the receiver out in front leading the way through the hole, and nice job picking up the first down by Taylor.
38 yards rushing for Taylor, who entering the game was averaging 3.3 yards per carry compared to 5 yards per carry last season. 6.3 today. Hines, and he gets a yard. So Carson Wentz has missed 12 regular season games since 2017, 8 because of injury. And there's a lot of questions when you hear people talking about Wentz in terms of his durability. And we asked him if that was added motivation to get out there here today. And he said, look, it's frustrating to hear people talk about that I'm always injured, but that is not why I want to be out there today. I wouldn't play if I didn't think I could help this team. This is a big game, divisional game, and I want to be out there, not because people are talking about me. So he had the right answers last night. He's looked okay so far today. Pittman to the 45. The other interesting dynamic, James, in this whole quarterback shuffle this week for the Colts was Jacob Eason, who entered the game last week in relief of Wentz late when he got hurt. But then it was Brett Hundley who came up off the practice squad to sneak ahead of Eason. And we asked Frank Reich last night, how did Eason take the news? And he said it wasn't easy for Eason to hear that he had been moved down to number 3, but he handled it like a pro. And this has nothing to do with what Eason did or did not do. It was more about the veteran presence in Hundley if Wentz was not able to play. 3rd and 4. Wentz, Pittman, and right at the chains. I think he's right on it. No signal yet.
It's a 4th down. He's a little short.
4th and
Great
inches.
Tackle from behind by Christian Fulton. Kind of used Pittman's momentum as he's coming inside to not only knock him backwards, but to take him down at the same time.
Michael Grady, you asked Frank Reich about going for it on 4th downs.
Yeah, he watches every team around the league, their 4th down call each week, and determines, what would I do in this situation? Always aggressive. He trusts his gut and analytics on making these calls.
And his gut is right here. A conversion on 4th down for Jonathan Taylor. 6-yard run. The drive continues.
I think one of the things you could take out of the equation would be a quarterback sneak. So he turns around, hands the ball off to the running back, and that running back does a nice job in not going for the inside hole, but sliding and seeing where there's room to run. Good job by Jonathan Taylor.
There's Nelson, ruled out for the game with an ankle injury. Play number 8 on this opening drive of the second half. He really needed to see what he had in Wentz in the first half. He said, look, if he's going to play, I'm not going to wanted him to walk around on eggshells. If he's out there, he's got to be out there. But in terms of my play calling, that might take some time to feel out. Now Frank Reich has a half of seeing Wentz, and you're seeing him do some different things here in this opening drive.
And you're going to keep him in the pocket with the outside pass rushers.
Wentz to Campbell. He's got it, and let's see where they spot him. Very close to another Colts first down. Christian Fulton makes the tackle, and they're saying it's inches short. So Reich already went for it once on 4th down. Let's see what he does here, and it looks like we're getting the same answer. You like this call, James?
I love it. You know, you went for 3 at the end of the first half, and you have both backs in. You have Taylor in close, Hines in behind, so you can go here, and then you can go wide with a pitch.
On 4th down, Taylor up the middle. He's got the first down. Second straight 4th down conversion by Jonathan Taylor.
Anybody who remembers any of their old high school plays, you get that fullback belly, and that's exactly what that is. You use Taylor, and then you're going to have Hines as the pitch man to kind of draw that linebacker out of that area.
So Frank Reich now goal to go. 6 possessions, goal to go in the first 2 games, only 3 touchdowns.
Have a little exchange of the wide receivers here.
Wentz to the end zone, incomplete. Pittman had separation but could not connect with Wentz.
Just a little misfire. Nice job by Pittman on Cruikshank, the safety. Cruikshank even played some corner while he was in college, but really he is a big guy, and so you get him to stop his feet, cut across his face, and that's one that Carson Wentz wishes he had back.
14-play drive. Only 1 play has gone for longer than 6 yards. That was the 11-yard pickup by Allie Cox. Wentz back to the air, looking end zone for Pascal, incomplete.
Get us to the next down. Nice job with the pressure. You can see in the pre-snap read that it's man-to-man coverage, and Wentz kind of fading toward his throw there as opposed to just standing in the pocket.
They have rushed for 30 yards on this drive, but the first 2 plays inside the 10 are passes, and now it's 3rd and goal.
You've got linebackers over here on the tight end and the running back.
Wentz has time, looks end zone, it's juggled and incomplete. Pascal could not hold on. Cruikshank applying the heat. And now on 4th down, Frank Reich will send out his field goal unit.
Boys hear the term bend but don't break. Sometimes the receivers get bent, and it looks like they're going to get broken with the tough hits that come in there. Can't double catch the ball that close to the goal line and not get hit.
And the goal to go issues continue for Indianapolis. And you got to think Wentz is thinking about that first down pass. He had a touchdown to Michael Pittman and he missed him. 28-yard attempt for Blankenship. And he is still perfect on the year. So a long drive, 8.5 minutes. And it ends in 3 for the Colts. 15 plays. It took up 8.5 minutes off the clock. It ends in a field goal by Blankenship to make it a 1-point game. Meanwhile, A.J. Brown has taken his uniform off, and he is done for the day with a hamstring injury. Tennessee will finally get the football here in the second half. Nick Nichols on the return. And he is stopped short of the 20-yard line. Good coverage by Indianapolis. Saturday, the SEC on CBS features an outstanding top 20 matchup between number 12 Ole Miss and top-ranked Alabama. The day begins with the drive to Atlanta at 2:30 Eastern.
Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. FedEx, where now meets next. And by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
Wonderful tribute here at halftime. It's Oilers tribute week, and Bum Phillips, former Oilers head coach, is posthumously added to the Ring of Honor. Been a great weekend for some former Oilers to get together and celebrate here in Nashville. 6:22 to go, third quarter, and the Titans have the ball up by 1. They pitch it to Henry on the right side, and Henry's able to cross the 20-yard line. Ryan Tannehill's last 10 pass attempts, well, he's 7 of 10, but 2 interceptions in that time. Second one, who you put that one on, James Lofton?
Well, it ends up in tomorrow morning's paper on the quarterback.
Sure.
But obviously the wide receiver had a chance to make a catch, but was unable to do so. That ball pops up in the air, and Kenny Moore, Johnny on the spot.
Remember, no A.J. Brown. He's out for the game. Henry now, left side. Henry is cut from behind. Rock Yassin getting in the backfield to help out on the tackle.
And Xavier Rhodes, number 27, kind of limping off. You know, guy who came into the game with a calf injury. Now he's out on the sideline, and the trainers are going to be looking at him in a minute.
Third down and 5 for Tennessee. In the first half, they were 4 for 8 on third down.
And this is where, with A.J. Brown out of the game, that you can shade your coverage to Julio Jones.
Tannehill gets rid of it, incomplete. He was harassed in the backfield. They're saying it's an incomplete pass. DeForest Buckner was the first to get back there, and Matt Eberflus is pumped up that his defense holds to a 3-and-out.
Talked to Matt Eberflus. He talked about quarterbacks being able to step up against edge pressure, but when you can pressure up the middle, there's nowhere for that quarterback to go but out the pocket.
Second 3-and-out forced today by the Colts defense. And now Kern will kick it away to Nyheim Hines.
This is where Kern has to be a weapon, a guy who's a 3-time Pro Bowler.
Oh, Kern got hit by Franklin, and a flag comes out. Hines on the return. Spun down at the 31-yard line, but the special teams captain for the Colts, Zaire Franklin, ran into Kern.
Roughing the kicker. Defense number 44. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And a critical call against Franklin.
You know, we've talked about it before with the baseball season winding down. When you get that error that gives you that extra out in an inning, do you take advantage of it? Now the Tennessee Titans, who've turned the ball over twice in this ballgame, in a way get a little mini turnover right there where they get a fresh set of downs and get to continue the drive.
Last year in the game here in Tennessee between the Colts and Titans, E.J. Speed blocked a punt for Indianapolis. It was returned for a touchdown by T.J. Carey. Franklin nearly got that one, but instead it turns into a 15-yard penalty, and the Titans offense back out on the field. Handoff Henry. And DeForest Buckner greets him at the line of scrimmage. Derrick Henry in the first half a week ago, 50 yards, and then he went off in the second half in overtime. And the Titans hoping that history repeats itself. And it was Mike Vrabel who said that second half in Seattle is their true identity. Henry got it going. They were physical, hung tough, and came away with the win. Tannehill is going to keep it himself. Cuts it upfield. Tannehill showing off his wheels, and down at the 32-yard line. Blackman on the tackle, but Tannehill rumbles for 28 yards.
You know, we've watched Ryan Tannehill on 2 scrambles now, and most of the time when a quarterback gets out of the pocket and defenders get close, they slide. Ryan Tannehill must have something that goes off in his head and says, you know, I've got 10 yards. I want 15. No, I want 20. He just continues to ramble, and that was a huge, huge run.
45 yards rushing today for Tannehill. Play fake. Tannehill looking for Batson. He's got him for a first down. Driven to the turf by Yassine, but a 13-yard pickup for number 13.
So Cameron Batson at 5'8", who used to play in that air raid offense with Texas Tech, he takes the place of A.J. Brown. And you said he's looking for him. Andrew, I don't think he could see him at first. He threw it up high where he threw it to A.J. right at eye level. Batson had to go climb up and get it. Great job by Batson.
Batson listed at 5'8". He was inactive the first 2 games, but today it was Josh Reynolds who was down. Batson up for the first time. Another play fake. Tannehill on a slant. He's got Westbrook-Ikhine, and he lost the football. Indianapolis picks it up. Rock Yassine, and he's knocked down by Tannehill. Now the Titans are trying to say that Westbrook-Ikhine was down, but the call on the field appeared to be a fumble.
It looked like the ball was out, but I think as he's on the ground, he at least has to touch the defender who takes the ball away. Let's take a look at it. See, that
out.
ball's coming loose, but when he's down, does any part of his body touch? No, it doesn't.
No, he had the football, made a football move, and lost it. To me, that's a fumble. Timeout on the see the 2 Tannehill interceptions, and now the lost fumble from Westbrook-Ikhine confirmed in replay. So Carson Wentz back out on the field, down by 1, 2.5 to go in the 3rd. Taylor on first down, up the middle with some room, and Taylor to the 27-yard line.
Stack the line of scrimmage. They bring in 3 tight ends. You figure it's going to be a run. You come up, you try and make those run fits. You miss in the hole. You give up 9 yards on first down.
In the first half, Indianapolis had the ball for 10.5 minutes. On their last drive, they had the ball for 8.5 minutes. Looking for another extended drive here, late in the 3rd. Back to Taylor, and he's got the first down. Inside the NFL is now streaming. The hardest-hitting team of analysts in football provide expert insight and exclusive commentary you won't find anywhere else. Stream new episodes Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on Paramount+.
You've got the front lineman thinking, run the ball. Now's a great time for a play-action pass after you've had a couple successful runs.
Play fake, and Wentz to Campbell. Did he get it? Yes. Great catch by Paris Campbell.
Boy, good timing on the throw. That ball's nose-diving a little bit. Campbell stretches out.
No. Vrabel just threw that red flag. Actually, a beautiful toss by Vrabel. It kind of fluttered in the air. He got good distance out of it as well. Not surprisingly, you see the kind of physique Mike Vrabel
flipped his
has.
hips throwing that flag out there.
Very impressive toss from Vrabel.
Tennessee is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. Timeout.
First challenge flag thrown this season by Vrabel. And it looks like he's going to be. It's been overturned, and we consulted with our rules analyst, Gene Steratore, during that commercial break, and he agreed it was clear. No control there by Campbell, and it's an incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10. Hines at running back. Good crowd here today in Nashville making some noise. Wentz. This pass is batted down by Jeffrey Simmons.
Great job by Simmons understanding the strengths and kind of what Frank Reich is thinking. Get the ball out quickly. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. You're licking your chops. But this offensive line with stars Quentin Nelson and Braden Smith, who didn't even play today, out, is holding up pretty well in pass protection. Let's see if they can do it here on 3rd and 10.
5 straight incompletions for Wentz. Play clock down to 3. Pressure's coming. Wentz can't get away. Harold Landry in the backfield along with Adaney. A loss of 10.
When you play basketball, somebody sets a screen for you. So as you're rushing in, you set a screen for the rusher who's coming behind you. You pick, and he comes around, and in full force, he gets to the quarterback.
And now there's an injured player down on the field. It is a Titan player as Mike Vrabel comes out. And it is the rookie Rashad Weaver, 4th-round pick out of Pittsburgh. Loss of 10 on that play as Wentz is sacked for the 2nd time today.
We've seen Wentz not be able to get away from the pass rush, and on the other side of the ball, Tannehill being able to use his legs really well, rushing for 45 yards in just 2 carries. So when you get a quarterback who's mobile, you've got to really be able to defend against that.
Weaver, number 99 in blue, in the middle of your screen, and it looks like Danico Autry, his teammate, came down on his right leg. So they continue to look at Weaver and will be back. Bad news here for Weaver, who needed help off the field, immediately loaded onto the cart, and he will head back to the Tennessee locker room. So on 4th and 20, Sanchez is out to punt it away. Rodgers, the return man for the Titans. He's going to have a return here. And Rodgers across the 40 out to the 41-yard line with 20 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Ryan Tannehill trots back out, and he's had a tough day with the 2 interceptions so far.
Ryan Tannehill has been harassed in the pocket, but some of the throws you're looking at, and you're going, a ball bounces up in there off his receiver. Yes, that's going to be on him in tomorrow's paper. But Ryan Tannehill has put the ball on the money enough where his guys can make plays, and you've got to hold on to the ball and not fumble it when you're inside the red zone.
3 turnovers on the last 4 drives, and now in the season, Tennessee is -6 in the turnover department. Henry. Around the left side, Derrick Henry with a 1st down. Shoved out by Okereke, and that stops the clock temporarily with 14 seconds. That could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Tannehill will let it trickle on down, and we're set up for a good finish here in Nashville. Another tight divisional game between the Colts and Titans. 14-13 at the end of 3. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Of the 4th quarter in Nashville, and the Titans hanging on to a 14-13 lead. Indianapolis trying to avoid an 0-3 start for the first time in 10 years. 1st down and 10 for Tennessee, and it's a handoff to Henry. Trying the left side. turns it up. And Derrick Henry with a nice run close to a Tennessee first down. And hi again, everyone, from the broadcast booth along with James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalan. Back and forth game. Seems like Tennessee should have been able to have a bigger lead by now, but the turnovers have been killer. 3
turnovers, and when you think about this game, that's the thing that you said. If the Colts can get some turnovers and protect the passer, they can be okay. But they've got to be able to stop the big explosive pass plays, and you can just feel some play action coming and targeting Julio Jones down the field at some point.
It was a 9-yard run for Henry. 2nd down and 1. Tannehill, he is taking a deep shot down the sideline, incomplete. Looking for, and a flag comes in. He was looking for Westbrook-Ikhine. Xavier Rhodes had the coverage.
Rhodes in good position, but being the big physical corner that he is, he continued to ride Ikhine Westbrook to the boundary and just didn't turn to play the ball at all.
First game of the season for Rhodes. He was out the first 2 with a calf injury. And he said the last few days he's been feeling good.
You know, he had gone to the sideline a few plays previous, and I think that it was smart of the Titans to try and test him to see if he was going to be able to turn and sprint.
That's a 30-yard penalty.
Henry time.
1st and goal. It is Henry up the middle. And Henry finally stopped at the 7-yard line. You can see what Henry has done by direction today, having his most success running to the left side. A play fake. Tannehill throws on the run. Swain is cut down. Andrew Sendejo makes the tackle, a loss of 3.
You know, I understand giving your players a little break now and then, but your best pass receiving threat, Julio Jones, on the sideline, after you had a break to change quarters, where sure you plan to take him out at a certain time, I'd have him on the field right now, 3rd down.
Yeah, Julio Jones is watching from the sideline, and A.J. Brown already ruled out with an injury. 3rd and goal. Tannehill fires. McNichols got a step. Touchdown! Jeremy McNichols! Tannehill comes up clutch on 3rd down. And Tennessee is keeping its offense on the field. They want to go for 2. If they get it, it would become a 2-possession game.
You have specific plays that you work on all season long. Yeah, we're only in week 3, but they're for 2 points, and you choose a hash that you want to work from. I'm not sure if they call for plays when you don't have Julio Jones and A.J. Brown in, because if that's the case, Derrick Henry is getting the ball right here.
Jones remains on the sideline. Henry up the middle. He's got it. And the 2-pointer is good. And that makes it a 2-score game here in Nashville. Tannehill with his 3rd touchdown pass of the day. 2nd career touchdown for Jeremy McNichols, and then the 2-point conversion good to make it a 22-13 game. We checked with the Titans, and they said no injury update for Julio Jones, so it appears he was just getting a breather on that drive. Next Sunday, an NFL on CBS doubleheader. The early slate highlighted by a battle in the city of brotherly love as the Chiefs visit the Eagles. And then at 4:25 Eastern, 2 legendary franchises, the Steelers and Packers, get together. It all kicks off at noon Eastern with the NFL Today. It's doubleheader NFL action next Sunday on CBS.
So the Titans were on the sideline. Their defensive line looked at the runs that they were getting pierced on. Now they got to close those gaps down and at the same time get after Carson Wentz.
Wentz to the air on first down, spins away and throws it. Pascal is down there. He's got it. Great job by Wentz to locate Pascal for a first down and a gain of 27.
You know, we've all watched Carson Wentz play over the years, and such a huge part of his game is being able to extend plays and take those big hits. That time he extended the play without taking the big hit, and a great job finding Pascal down the field.
Longest play today by the Colts offense. They move into Tennessee territory at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10. Wentz again taking a shot for Pittman, incomplete. Fulton had good coverage. Back to New York, NFL Today update. Here's Phil Simms.
All right, Andrew, Justin Herbert. Who's he throw to? Big Mike Williams in the front of the end zone. Nice catch, 20 yards out for the touchdown. The Chargers lead Kansas City 21-17. Back to Andrew, James, and Michael.
All right, Phil, good job there. Good game between the Chargers and Chiefs. Back and forth they go after KC had taken the lead. Second down and 10. These Titans fans are on their feet cheering on the defense. Wentz in trouble, and he throws it away over the head of Campbell. Landry in the backfield again. And a late flag has come out.
Holding. Defense number 54. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Another automatic first down. This time the call goes against Rashaan Evans. Mike Vrabel not happy about that one.
With Wentz extending the plays, kind of going backwards. Just that little hook, as opposed to punching them with your hands. That little hook, as you turn the receiver, you're going to get the holding call. And even if it's away from where the quarterback throws the ball, you're still going to get those calls.
Automatic first down for the Colts. There's Hines, slips a tackle, stays on his feet. Hines down the sideline, turns on the Jets, and shoved out of bounds by Evans. Great moves along the sideline by Nyheim Hines.
Frank Reich talked about what an effective runner he was inside the tackles, but he makes a living outside the box, make a guy miss in space and turn on the speed. We saw the speed on that touchdown run that he had in the first half, and that time getting away from Crookshank and getting down the sideline.
And now Christian Fulton is on a knee in front of the Titans sideline, and the Tennessee training staff is out to take a look at the second-year corner. He has played phenomenal football at the beginning of this season, leading the team in passes defensed. Told us on Friday he feels like the game is slowed down for him now in his second year, and he slowly walks off. That was a 36-yard catch by Nyheim Hines. That's a career long. You see Fulton engaged with Jack Doyle there. And now 1st and goal for the Colts.
You mentioned earlier about this being the Achilles heel area for the Colts. Who do they go to? Because you get down here and you always think players, not plays. Last time they got Hines a sweep to the outside where he raced to the pylon for a touchdown.
It is Hines next to Wentz. Wentz to Pascal, incomplete. Crookshank got a hand on that one. Actually, it was Breon Borders who was in coverage on Pascal.
You see those rub routes trying to be executed by the Colts. They do that a lot, did it a ton with Phillip Rivers a year ago, and Borders just fingertips to get that ball away from Pascal.
James, remember the last time the Colts were inside the 10, they abandoned the run. 3 passes, and they start with a pass here on 1st and goal. They don't even have Taylor on the field. It's Hines again. This time they will run it with Hines. And he is tackled at the 5-yard line. Jeffrey Simmons making his presence felt this afternoon.
You got a quarterback who you really can't move a lot in the pocket, get the ball out of his hands early. But if you are the Tennessee Titans, you want to really make sure that you seal the middle to keep Hines out of the run lanes and push the pocket to make Carson Wentz sink backwards and away from his throwing targets.
Play clock at 3. Wentz throws to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Pascal, and again it was Breon Borders who had the coverage. Borders is in there with Fulton having to come out on this drive, and he makes a couple of big plays.
You saw that interior pass rush kind of just right at the feet of Carson Wentz, and Borders doing just enough, even though he jumps up, to not interfere with Pascal enough to draw a flag.
And with it being a 2-score game after the 2-point conversion, Frank Reich will send out his kicker, Rodrigo Blankenship, from 24 yards away. He's already 2 for 2 today. And now 3 for 3. So at 10:20 to go in the 4th quarter, the Colts put 3 on the board and they trail 22-16. Steelers tribute weekend.
You know, he's not going to be welcome in Houston. They're the love your blue crowd.
Frank Reich, of course, getting it done against the Oilers in that wild card comeback game. On the kickoff return, it's McNichols, stopped short of the 20, and for an injury update, let's check in with Michael Grady.
Colts safety Kari Willis, cramps, questionable return to this ball game. Keep an eye on whether he returns the rest of the way. And then Julio Jones, no helmet, still on the sidelines. Actually, he's grabbing his helmet right now. Was not in on that last drive, Andrew, so we'll see whether or not he takes the field.
The only thing we notice is there's a little bit of white tape around his right knee, but we did ask the Titans, and they said, no, he's got the helmet, so he's putting the helmet on. We'll see if he actually comes out onto the field. Big drive here for Tennessee. First down and 10. It's Henry. And Henry to the 22-yard line. Tyquan Lewis in on the tackle for the Colts. Last 6 possessions for Tennessee. 3 turnovers, but they did just have the big drive last time out. 5 plays, 59 yards, and the touchdown. Todd Downing, the offensive coordinator for Tennessee.
Linebacker split out wide, that shows man-to-man coverage.
Henry, he's got room. Derrick Henry with a first down. Up to the 33-yard line.
You take that linebacker out the box, Darius Leonard, you take one of the great tacklers in the league out. And Derrick Henry today, it's been a tough game for him, but you see the shoulders square, and once his shoulders get square and he gets a half a step past the line of scrimmage, you gotta hope that your safeties take him down.
Tough game, but he still has 112 yards rushing today, and it's the 4th consecutive game against the Colts that he has rushed for 100 yards or more. On 24 carries for Henry. Make it 25. This time bottled up. Franklin coming in to finish him off. So last week, Derrick Henry had a career high 35 carries in the overtime victory against Seattle, and he's already at 25 here with 8.5 to go in the 4th.
So against the Tennessee Titans, you always want to talk about, how do we get 8 guys in the box? Well, you can get 8 in the box, and now with Julio Jones on the sideline, with A.J. Brown out the game, how about 9 in the box to try and slow down Derrick Henry? And now Derrick Henry outside the box. So what do you do now?
Tannehill looking for Henry. He's got him. Henry with a stiff arm and a first down. He's doing it all this year. Derrick Henry with an 11-yard reception.
The most impressive thing is this is just a natural hands catch. Yeah, the stiff arm's pretty impressive, but the ability to catch that ball in those hands softly like Derrick Henry had, that sends a bad message to the rest of the league that watch out, I can do more than just run over you.
Henry has 12 catches this year. His career high in receptions is 19. He gets a breather here. Tannehill play fake, fires right, dangerous pass is caught. Westbrook-Ikhine reels it in. Kenny Moore was closing quickly, and for a second there it looked like he was going to have another interception.
At the top of the route, Ikhine chops his feet a bunch, and it takes him a while to get out of the break. If you're really driving that corner off and you're making him think you're going to run by him, he won't be able to stop and plant at the ball. But that time Ikhine got at the top of that route, started to chop his feet, and the ball was a little late and inside also.
Injury update, Rock Ya-Sin is out for the game with an ankle injury. Henry still on the sideline right next to Julio Jones. It's McNichols on the carry. And he breaks across the 40-yard line. 5-yard run for Jeremy McNichols. And now Henry returns to the field. Tell you what, James, we were wondering how the left side of the Titans offensive line would hold up due to the injuries to Lewan and Saffold in the recent weeks, and they've looked pretty good to me.
I know you don't have your receivers in, but DeForest Buckner is on the sideline. Now is when you'd want to take a shot play down the field.
Hand off Henry. And this time not able to break through. But the time continues to tick as we approach 5.5 to go. Coming up, State Farm postgame show. We go to the guys in New York for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Coming up on the State Farm postgame show. Big play here. 3rd down and 4. Right on the edge of field goal range for Randy Bullock as well. Tannehill has time. Now over the middle. What a catch! My Cole Pruitt. Oh my! He moves the chains and a big 3rd down conversion.
Pruitt had 3 receptions last week. Was a big spark for them against the Seattle Seahawks. And that play right there, just finding a hole in the middle, ball a little bit off target, and extending and making that big 3rd down reception.
South Bend, Indiana native with a clutch catch against the Indianapolis Colts. And that keeps the clock moving as we move closer to 4 minutes to go. Tennessee moving down the field without A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. They're riding this man, Henry, but he is buried by Muhammad. Now Quadeen Muhammad has done a good job stuffing the run today. A loss of 1.
You've got to be able to cut off the backside. If you don't, you get sprint players like Muhammad able to run down the running back from the backside.
At what point does Frank Reich start to consider using his timeouts?
If you can get a stop here, and you really would love to be able to force Tennessee into a must-pass situation on 3rd down and hope you can get an incompletion.
Let's go, get set, let's go. Come. Run.
We talked about 9 in the box. There are 10 guys up around the line of scrimmage.
Tannehill, he might try to keep this one again. He will, and he is inbounds with a 1st down. That's the 3rd time today that you thought Tannehill was going to go to the ground or go out of bounds, and he just kept on running.
You've got to have your head in the game if you play quarterback. And look at the sprint by Mohammed, and then here by Tannehill to stay in bounds and keep that clock moving.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Indianapolis uses its first timeout, and that last run by Tannehill has now given him a career high in rushing yards in a game. He's got 3 carries for 58 yards.
Not a bad average, almost 20 yards per carry.
First down and 10 with 3:17 on the clock. Henry up to the 15. Kenny Moore makes the tackle, and Frank Reich immediately calls timeout, so the Colts have 1 remaining. We said it right on the first drive. Look for Ryan Tannehill to run some today. Well, he's got a new career high, and James, he's been a kind of a coy in his running a little bit, in the sense that you thought he was going down a couple of times.
Exactly. You would think that he'd be going to the turf, but he stepped through tackles. He's made some moves, and there's a headfirst dive into a defender. And here, along the boundary, game into balance, you realize that the Colts have to use a timeout if you stay in bounds. Just a smart, heady job by Tannehill each and every time he's decided to take off and run. And
we asked him because in the first 2 games, Tennessee only had 3 completions of longer than 20 yards. And he said, look, it can be frustrating, but I'm just going to take what the defense gives us. And he is showing that here today with his legs. 2nd and 10. Tannehill looking to throw, chucks one up towards the end zone, incomplete, and that does a huge favor to the Colts because it stops the clock and they don't have to use their final timeout.
And just a 2-receiver route where you didn't even have one of your tight ends or your running back Derrick Henry checking down behind past the line of scrimmage in front of the linebackers.
Third down and 10. Julio Jones does not even have his helmet on anymore. He's just holding it in his hand. Colts defense needs to try to force Tennessee to a field goal attempt here and hope that they miss it. This is Tommy Hudson. And Hudson, with his 2nd career catch, stops short of a first down, and Frank Reich uses his final timeout with 3:02 to go. Julian Blackmon a little slow to get up, but now he is up and on his feet. And out comes Randy Bullock, who had the game-winning kick in overtime last week in Seattle. He was 4 for 5 on the day in his first game as a Titan. Has not attempted a field goal so far today.
Most kicks easily clear the line of scrimmage. Well, most teams don't have a defensive tackle like DeForest Buckner, who at 6'7" has that long reach, the ability to penetrate. He's going to be right in line with how the kicker's kicking it. So the kicker is kicking it from the right hash, so DeForest Buckner is going to be right in that gap between the left guard and center and try and squeeze his body in and extend his hands upward.
It's a 32-yard attempt for the veteran Randy Bullock to once again make it a 2-score game with 3:02 on the clock. Bullock's kick on the way, and it is good. Tennessee back up by 9. Tannehill was the star of that drive with that big 28-yard run.
Saw Buckner had a little bit of the penetration, but the offensive line did a nice job kind of taking his wheels out from under him where he could extend, but he couldn't jump and extend.
Tannehill all smiles as he's on the verge of becoming 20-9 since taking over as the starting quarterback here in Tennessee. Three touchdown passes, new career high rushing for Tannehill. And a touchback. Let's revisit your keys to the game, James.
Well, we talked about for the Indianapolis Colts getting some takeaways. They've been able to do that, and they've gotten those points off the takeaways. But for the Tennessee Titans, 20-plus carries. Derrick Henry has 28 carries, and the other thing that the Tennessee Titans have not done so far is given up that big pass play over the top. They've given up some medium range plays, but nothing over everybody's head deep.
Christian Fulton is back on the field for Tennessee at the bottom of your screen. Matched up with Paris Campbell. Wentz looking the other way, has a man, and it's caught. Pittman to the 43-yard line. And now the Colts will go no huddle. They cannot stop the clock outside of the 2-minute warning. Wentz over the middle, broken up. Kevin Byard got a hand on that one for Tennessee.
Kevin Byard is a fearless defender in that when he sees something in front of him and he reads it, he's going to burst and break on the ball. You see, it almost looks like it's going to be an easy completion to Pascal over the middle, but there's Byard in there to get a hand in.
Chris Reed remains at left guard, playing for the injured Quentin Nelson.
And let's see how Jeffrey Simmons, number 98, pushes that pocket in the middle.
Wentz, Adaney's got him, and there's the sack. Ola Adaney with another big day. A flag has come out right in front of the Tennessee sideline.
Thrown right at David Long, who was covering Boyle. Jack Doyle.
7th time Wentz has been hit today. 6 of the 7 have come in the second half. And Adaney was able to blow past Eric Fisher on that play.
Illegal contact. Defense number 35. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Chris Jackson, the guilty party.
So you've got a 5-yard chuck rule. You're up to about 10 right there where you make in the first initial contact. Doesn't help that the guy goes to the ground. In the NBA, I think he might get a fine for flopping.
Colts will take it. They're running out of time here. 2:27 to go. Pressure's coming again. Wentz to Mo Alley Cox. And he runs out of bounds just across the 50.
Well, you
3-yard gain.
Think about what you need in this sequence, Andrew. You need a field goal, and then you need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So I think the minute that you hit inside the 35-yard line, you kick the field goal. You take that field goal, then you try and go for the onside kick after that.
Yeah, with no timeouts left, Colts cannot go back on defense. So got to figure out a way to score and score quickly twice. 2nd and 7. Pressure coming again. Wentz stays in there, locates Hines, and Hines is tackled at the 45 by David Long.
And that might have been better served to be an incompletion as opposed to picking up 3 yards and time ticking off the clock. Got to get this snap up before the 2 minutes.
I don't think they're gonna. Nope. They needed to try to snap that football before the 2-minute warning. 3rd down when we come back. Run their record to 2-1, looking to close out the Colts at Nissan Stadium. No timeouts remaining for Indianapolis. 3rd down and 3. Wentz, and he's got Pittman for the first down. Pittman tackled at the 36-yard line by Jenkins, and the Colts going quickly again. Blankenship's season long is 48. He's only hit 1 from 50 in his career. Hines can't get out of bounds. Clock continues to tick. A little pushing and shoving after.
Yeah, you've got guys over there trying to get your runner off the ground, but come on, get lined up, get the next play done. You get 5 more yards, you got to get the field goal kicker out there and kick the field goal.
Wentz pump fakes, can't take a sack here, and he flicks it incomplete. I think that's a case where if Wentz was feeling 100%, he could have ran up the middle for a few extra yards to get those yards you mentioned to kick the field goal.
You do get a stoppage of the clock there, but you're right. Wentz, and you know, you can't see behind you, but he knew that he just didn't have enough speed to run away from somebody if they were chasing him, and there was someone in relatively close position to him.
From here, it would be a 51-yard field goal attempt. Blankenship's career long is 53.
I talked to Bubba Ventura, the special teams coach, on the field before the game. He said he's good from at least 55. He just has a smooth motion. He's put on some weight, some strength, even though he doesn't look like it. But this kicking, ball just jumps off his foot. So the clock has been stopped here.
Mike Vrabel called timeout.
I would almost, yes, but I would almost, if I'm the Colts, decide to take the field goal attempt right here. I know you're not in ideal position, but you're not going to run a lot of time off the clock and then go for the onside kick.
Coming up, State Farm postgame show. We go to the Crew in New York for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's coming up on the State Farm postgame show. Well, Frank Reich, your former teammate in Buffalo, and he is not going to kick it here, even though the clock is stopped. 3rd down and 7.
And if they gain yardage, the ball is going to be in play, the clock is going to be running, so you're only going to have less time than on your minute 8 that you have right now.
Wentz, he's taking a deep shot down the field, and it's incomplete. Intended for Pittman. Jenkins had the coverage. And now you would think Frank Reich would send out Blankenship to attempt the field goal.
And this is close. You're going after Jackrabbit Jenkins. He's playing it. There's a little bit of hand fighting, but not enough to draw the flag. Let him play late in the game.
Wentz stood in there and was tossed down by Landry, and there was a bit of a delay, but now Reich does send out his kicker, Blankenship. This would be a season-long 51-yard field goal. In his career, he is only 1 of 3 from 50 yards or longer. Blankenship, and that one is no good. And that will do it here in Nashville. Blankenship had a very good rookie season, but he is not known for his distance. And now just 1 of 4 in his career from beyond 50 yards.
Just tailing off a little bit to the right. You know, you watch him during pregame warm-ups, 45, 50 yards, nailing them through. But those are kicks where there's nothing on the line. You're free to swing and go at the ball. You got to take that same thing to the field later on during the course of the ball game.
So last year Tennessee went 5-1 against the division, and they're keeping it rolling here in 2021 by taking out the Colts on their home turf. And for Indianapolis, it's their first 0-3 start in 10 years. That was the season they started 0-13. Ended up getting the #1 pick in Andrew Luck. So the Titans finished with a -3 turnover margin. It's the first time the Titans have won a game with -3 or worse since 2007 when they beat Atlanta. They had lost their last 16 times in that. For James Lofton, Michael Grady, our entire crew, I'm Andrew Catalan saying so long from Nashville, where the Titans win 25-16. Now we go back to New York and Nate Burleson.
Titans with the win. Let's send you over to Arrowhead.